Dear cadets, a very good morning to you all. Hope all of you are fine at your home. Due to corona pandemic prevailing around the whole world, life has become a bit different. You all are aware about this. Dear cadets, are you cautious regarding the fact that you need to be concerned about everything nowadays? Due to the different facts, your conventional classes are not taking place inside your classroom at your beloved alma mater. And so we have decided to take your online class. Today, I'd like to teach you on the topic voice change. Dear cadets, first of all, you need to know what your learning outcome will be. That is, after the lesson, what you will be able to know. Firstly, you will be able to know how to change voice from one form to another form. And secondly, you will understand the proper use of voice in the proper place, both while speaking and writing. So let's start our topic, that is voice. In order to change voice, first of all, you need to learn what voice is. Dear cadets, this voice is not the voice that comes out from your throat. Rather, this voice is the form of the verb which indicates whether the subject does the work or something has been done to it. On the basis of that, there are two types of voice. First one is active voice and the second one is passive voice. This active voice is the voice where the subject does the work itself, and the passive voice is the one in which something is done to the subject. So, dear cadets, let's know the structure of both the voices. At first, you need to know what the structure of active voice is. The structure is subject plus verb plus object. See the example, dear cadets. I do the work. Now, if you dissect the example, you will see first the subject, that is I, then the verb, that is do, and the object, that is the work. Next, the structure of passive voice, that is object plus be verb plus past participle of verb plus by plus subject. If you change the first example of the active voice, you will see in the passive voice it will be the work is done by me. Here, the verb was the object in the active voice, which has been changed to subject in the passive voice. And then a be verb has been added, that is. And next, the past participle form of the main verb, that is done, has been used instead of do. Then by has been added, and then the subject has been changed to object, which is me. Dear cadets, first see rule number 1. You can see from the above examples, that is, subject of the active voice becomes object in the passive voice. Let's go back. See, the subject has been changed to object. Then, object of the active voice becomes subject in the passive voice. Again, let's go back. Next, past participle form of the main verb is used. Let's see the example again. Next, according to the subject and tense, there comes auxiliary verb or be verb. See the examples. Okay, dear cadets, I hope this basic rule has been clear to you. So now, let's switch to our next rule. That is, in order to change an active voice into a passive voice, how the auxiliary verbs will be changed according to tense and subject. First of all, let's see for the indefinite tense how the be verbs or the auxiliary verbs will be. For present indefinite tense, it will be am, is, or are. For past indefinite tense, it will be was or were. For future indefinite tense, it will be shall be or will be. Next, for continuous tense. For present continuous tense, you'll have to use am being, is being, or are being. For past continuous tense, it will be was being, were being. For future continuous tense, it will be shall be being or will be being. And lastly, for perfect tense, here for present perfect tense, you'll have to use has been or have been. For past perfect tense, it will be had been. For future perfect tense, it will be shall have been or will have been. Dear cadets, you must keep in your mind that these be verbs will be changed according to tense and subject. If you make mistake here, the whole sentence will be wrong and you will get no marks. Dear cadets, let's switch to our next rule, that is rule number 3. Here, I have shown you the clarification of the previous rules. That is, if you see for present indefinite tense, the structure will be subject of object plus am, is, or are plus past participle form of verb plus by plus object of subject. Cadets, let's see the examples very attentively. See the first example. I play football. This one is the active voice. Here you see the subject I, the verb play, and the object is football. Now, if you change it into passive form, it will be football is played by me. So, for present indefinite tense, you have to use is for the be verb here. Why? Because football is third person singular number. And for football, you'll have to use is. Okay? And then played is the past participle form of the principal verb play. So you have to use here played. Next, you'll have to add by. After that, the most important thing is that me. Why have you used me here? Because try to remember, dear cadets, I have taught you in your class. That is case. The objective case of I is me. And for that very reason, you have to use me for the subject I here. So, for the active voice, I play football, you will write down or you will tell passive voice, football is played by me. After that, see the second example. That is, they eat rice. Here the passive form will be rice is eaten by them. Dear cadets, you all are acquainted with the term rice, that is uncountable noun. So for uncountable noun, we consider the noun as a singular form. So for singular form, after rice, there will come the be verb is. Here, rice is eaten by them. Why have you used them here? Because them is the objective form of the subjective form they. Cadets, let's switch to our next rule. That is rule number 4. Here we will come to learn present continuous tense. That is, how will you change an active voice in the present continuous tense into a passive voice? The structure is subject of object plus am being or is being or are being that will be used according to subject. Then past participle form of verb, then by, and then finally object of subject. See dear cadets, if you say I am playing football, here football is being played by me. Dear cadets, why have you used being here? Because being indicates that this one is in the continuous tense. If you do not use being, then it will be considered as present indefinite tense, and that will be wrong because in the active voice you see the sentence is in present continuous tense. So the tense must be kept constant. You cannot change a tense while transforming a sentence from an active voice to passive voice. Again, if you say, he is eating rice, here the passive form will be, rice is being eaten by him. Dear cadets, here, him it is the objective form of he. Dear cadets, let's move to the next rule. That is rule number 5, where you will be able to learn how we can change an active voice in the present perfect tense into a passive voice. The structure is subject of object plus have been or has been plus past participle form of verb plus by plus object of subject. You see here in the active voice, the first example is he has eaten rice. So, what will it be in the passive form? It will be rice has been eaten by him. Cadets, how will you recognize that this is in the present perfect tense? You will understand it from the rule that if you see have or has in a sentence, then you will find that that one is present perfect tense. So by seeing has, you will be able to detect it clearly that you need to change it according to this rule. Second example is, I have played football. Here, the passive form will be, football has been played by me. See dear cadets, for I, you have used be verb as have. And for football, you have to use has. Why? Because I is the first person and so we will use have here. But football is the third person and singular number. So you will use has here. Our next rule is for past indefinite tense. How we will change the voice from active form into passive form. The structure is subject of object plus was or were plus past participle form of verb plus by plus object of subject. See the first example. In the active voice, if you say, I ate rice, what will it be in the passive form? It will be, rice was eaten by me. Again, they played football. What will you write here? You will write, football was played by them. Again, for the past continuous tense, dear cadets, be very careful about this rule. Again, for the continuous tense, you will have to be attentive because you'll have to use an extra word that is being. Okay? So first of all, see the structure. That is subject of object plus was being or were being plus past participle form of verb plus by plus object of subject. At first, in the active voice, if you say, I was eating rice, in the passive form, you'll have to do, rice was being eaten by me. Cadets, again I'm reminding you, be careful about this rule because it is in a continuous tense, that is, in a running form. So, if you do not use the term being here, the whole sentence will be wrong and it will be turned into past indefinite tense. Again, see the next example. That is, they were catching fishes. The passive form will be, fishes were being caught by them. Rule number 8. It is for the past perfect tense. Dear cadets, how will you identify that this one is a past perfect tense? The rule is, if you see had, you will be able to understand that this one is written in past perfect tense. So, see the example. I had eaten rice. The passive form will be, rice had been eaten by me. Again, if you say in the active voice, we had dug the canal. The passive voice will be, the canal had been dug by us. Dear cadets, for changing voice, you must learn the rules of conjugation of words. Otherwise, the whole sentence might be wrong. Here, dug is the past form of the term dig. And again, dug is the past participle form of the term dig. So, you will use the same terms in both the cases. Let's move to our next rule, that is future indefinite tense. First of all, see the structure. The structure is subject of object plus shall be or will be plus past participle form of verb plus by plus object of subject. First of all, if you see the first example, that is in the active voice, I will eat rice. In the passive voice, it will be, rice will be eaten by me. Dear cadets, remember one thing. You have already known that for the modal auxiliary verb, after it, there will always come the base form of the verb. So, after will, is it possible to bring eaten here? Never. For this very reason, we have to use an extra term. That one is be. And for this variation, you will use here, rice will be eaten by me. Okay. Again, if the active voice is, they will play football, the passive voice will be, football will be played by them. Let's switch to our next rule. That is the role of future continuous tense. First of all, see the structure. That is subject of object plus shall be being or will be being plus past participle form of verb plus by plus object of subject. So the example is, if you say in the active voice, I will be eating rice. Dear cadets, again the same rule, that is after will, that is after any modal auxiliary verb, there can never come any verb other than the base form of the verb, that is eating must not come immediately after will. So you will have to use be here for making it continuous. So for the active voice, I will be eating rice. The passive voice will be rice will be being eaten by me. Okay. If you say rice will be eaten by me, that indicates that this one is written in future indefinite tense. But this is written in future continuous tense. So you will have to add being here. Again, for the active voice, if you say they will be playing football, for the passive voice, you have to say football will be being played by them. Cadets, let's move to our last rule, that is future perfect tense. How you will identify future perfect tense, that is, you have to see whether there is any will have or shall have. And after the term have, there must come the past participle form of the verb. So see the structure first. That is in the passive voice, it will be subject of object plus shall have been or will have been plus past participle form of verb plus by plus object of subject. Here, if the active voice is I will have eaten rice, the passive voice will be rice will have been eaten by me. Again, if you say they will have caught the fish, the passive voice will be the fish will have been caught by them. Dear cadets, that's all for today. But before that, I would like to give you homework. That is, write down one example for each rule taught in today's class. You must do it seriously and attentively, okay? Otherwise, you'll forget all those rules. So, dear cadets, you must study at your home sincerely. Stay fine, stay safe. Do not go outside. Do not let your parents or siblings go outside, and make everyone cautious about the fact that the whole world is in crisis. So you'll have to take measure. How? That is, you'll be cautious and you'll make everyone cautious about the fact. Okay? So for stay fine, Allah Hafiz.